This is the OTP. I'm Amie Wells, and the Indianapolis Colts are coming to town. They're getting ready to take on the Tennessee Titans at Nissan Stadium, so we had to bring in Titans senior editor Jim Wyatt to talk all about it. Jim, it's great to have you here on the OTP. It's been a minute.
Yes, it has. Hope you're doing well. You've got a lot of goodies around you here at the OTP station.
Oh, yeah. I have a very strong rule about only partnering with treats that I enjoy. And so as a result, we have Snickers and we have Christie cookies, which we will have a cookie break later in the show. We have 8th and Rose coffee. We also have some Hellman's mayonnaise thrown into the mix every now and then. We've got Little Caesars pizza. Only treats that I enjoy allowed on this program.
That sounds good.
Rule.
No mayonnaise in the coffee, though. We don't do that anymore, do we?
I don't think we do that anymore.
Okay.
I think that was a one-time treat, Jim. I think that was a one-time treat. Jim, Things have been interesting with the team getting off to an 0-2 start. You are the real man of the people because you are the holder of the keys to the mailbag. And as that person, you really interact with this fan base in a different way. I've read every mailbag that you've put out. They are fantastic. They are definitely entertaining. And along with some really good points being posed, you also get some fiery individuals kind of break down for me the overall mood of the mailbag as of late.
Yeah, it has not been great, unfortunately, since about 2023. I guess that's when things, maybe it's into 2022 seasons when things started to change. And I'm glad people continue to write. Like after games, after losses especially, I'll open that thing up and there'll just be 60 or 70, waiting for me. Yeah, like by Sunday night a lot of times. And they funnel in through Monday and throughout the course of the week. And I'm glad people still write in. If they quit writing in, would mean that they don't care. Obviously, fans are frustrated. It's been, as I mentioned, it's been a tough road for this team since the middle of the 2022 season. And obviously, in just year two of Brian Callahan, this team is 0-2 to start after a 3-14 last season. I think usually what happens is early in the week, fans kind of tee off, vent, air out frustrations about what they saw on Sunday, and that's what happened this week. And then I think in the Saturday mailbag that I do, I think you see some fans kind of talk about the positives they see and room for improvement. I think everybody just wants this team to get better, wants them to win. Frustrating to lose as much as the Titans have lost lately. People are excited about Cam Ward, but frustrated by the penalties and frustrated by the offensive line's inconsistencies and excited about the special teams, but frustrated they can't get a pass rush. So there's always a good mix in there from fans. And, I hope there's a little bit more variety. I mean, it's almost getting to be like Groundhog's Day in there, to be honest with you, just because, again, so many losses, the overall tone has not changed. You'd like to see some wins to change the subject a little bit.
When you started this mailbag back approximately 800 years ago, it feels like it's been a long time now. Did you expect it to have the longevity that it has had? Did you always think that this would be a consistent part of what you were doing week in and week out?
Yeah, well, when I came, after being with the Tennessee for so long, obviously there's some things I can't write now that I used to be able to write with a newspaper, and I thought, a mailbag would be a nice way to supplement coverage, and I planned to just do it on Saturdays, and then it turned out that, fans venting after Sunday and Monday, you get to Saturday, and, you've got to – you know how it is in the NFL, you're turning the subject. So you can't be writing about the previous week's game on a Saturday or having all the comments about that. So that's why I started doing a Tuesday mailbag and then do a Saturday. This is kind of more of a spin forward. And I've never had a week where I don't have questions to answer. And some don't make it. I mean, because people really voicing displeasure and get a little bit personal and get a little bit nasty. And so those don't always make it. I try to let fans air out their frustrations in there. But then sometimes, you get 20 questions on the same thing, and you can't just keep beating a dead horse, and you can only answer it, one way. Or you can answer it several ways, but there's just so much that can be said about one aspect of the game. And it's definitely been hopping, and I appreciate people taking the time to do it. Some of these people, clearly they've spent an hour on some of these questions that they've sent in and really have analyzed every aspect of the game. They come from all over, not only the country, but all over the world. That's what's amazing to me. And love it.
When you bring Hellman's Creamy Buffalo Chicken Dip to the watch party, you can cheer too loud, or block the TV, or be a couch coach, and no one will eject you from the game. That's a Hail Mayo. Hellman's, the official mayo of the Tennessee Titans. This summer, SeatGeek has your ticket to the best live concerts in Nashville at Nissan Stadium. SeatGeek makes it easy to catch world-conquering tours and high-wattage performances from your favorite artists all summer long. SeatGeek has the best seat, your seat, for an unforgettable summer. From rock royalty to rap superstars, R&B to country, find it all on SeatGeek, the official ticketing partner of Nissan Stadium. It's your summer. Make it count. SeatGeek. Hey Titans fans, with a Kroger Boost membership, you'll score big with double fuel points, free delivery, and lots more. Go to Kroger.com/boost for details. Kroger, the official grocer of the Tennessee Titans. Tighten up. It does feel like, in reading through the questions, while, yeah, there's a lot of maybe frustration or things that they want to see differently, one of the things that seems to be universal after these first two games is that there's a real excitement about this Titans rookie class. Have you also
Yes.
kind of felt that?
No question. It starts with Cam. I mean, just his energy, just the way he plays, just his attitude. I mean, I think we all can agree that he's been a great, kind of steadying force inside this building. They've got to get better around him. That's not going to happen in one off season, but you want to have the hope and the belief that you've got your quarterback to build your team around. And I think people think that's the case. Obviously, he's still got a lot to prove. He's just 2 games in, but people are excited about him. I think Chimere Dike and what he's been able to do in the return game, and Ayomanor, especially coming off a game like he had on Sunday where he makes a great catch against the shoulder pads, and then he makes the play where he improvises with Cam for a touchdown. He has a lot of promise. Gunnar Helm has not had as much of an impact at the start of the season as maybe even I thought he would, but I think he's going to. And there's reason to be excited about him. Femi Oladejo, I think, is going to be a really good player. And one guy who I really like that we haven't seen on the field is Kevin Winston. We've seen him on the practice field, but he's going to be one of the best players in this draft class. I feel like he just needs to get healthy first. So I think the team has a draft class, Mike Berganzi's first draft class that you can build upon, help building a foundation with. You're still going to supplement it with veterans, but that's the way that Berganzi and Brinker want to do it, is by building this team through the draft, extending your own players. We saw that with Amani Hooker, a couple of weeks ago. I think you're going to want to see that take place year after year after year, where you're keeping your own guys. But the way to do that is you got to get the right guys in the building and draft the right guys. And I do think positive signs for this 2025 class.
Ayomanor is so interesting to me because every time he makes a play, and per Next Gen Stats, there's no rookie in the NFL who has accounted for a higher share of their team's targets through the first 2 weeks. He had 21.3% of the targets, which is pretty impressive. 13 targets through 2 games. The only person who had more was Calvin Ridley with 14. All I think about, though, when he's playing is that video from draft night where he's down in his bedroom in the basement because he's just so stressed about the whole thing, and he's not getting called, and he's waiting, and he knows he's coming, and then he gets so emotional, and his whole family runs in the room, and things like that, where he felt like a guy who was so kind of, I don't want to say counted out or whatever, but it just felt like one of those moments. It's like, look at the kid who's going to get a shot, and now, holy smokes, look at what he's doing with it.
Yeah, I think about that tape, and then I think about the tape from his game against Colorado where he just, he schooled Travis Hunter that night, and that showed you the ability he has. I think that draft night was in Medicine Hat, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that's what shows you how far he's come, and just came out of nowhere to put himself on the map. And he's a really good player. He's very smart. Anytime you ask him a question, he gives a very well thought out answer. Has a great humility about him, but also is bright and loves football, and like a lot of these guys in this draft class, those guys work and put in the extra time and get here early and stay late and want to be a good teammate. So, yeah, he's going to be really good because, yeah, he's not just a feel-good story about getting a shot, like you said. He's got a chance to be a really good player in this league, and I think I've already seen that from draft onlookers and people that have followed him coming out of Stanford that Titans feel like they got one in him.
Right, and Chimere Dike is a guy who, different situation in that he came from a bigger school. However, he's a guy who really was going to make his name, we thought, on special teams. And Coach Callahan has said, well, we've seen what he does in that phase of the game. We want to incorporate him in the offense more. And so that's a situation where you see a guy coming in, he's making the plays, he's doing the things that are being asked of him, he's doing the extra, like you mentioned, and now he's getting the opportunity on the field to make those plays when it counts.
Yeah, and he's fast, he's very athletic, and he's very poised, and that's a great combination to have. You know, I think a lot of people – the way the things played out during the offseason, especially leading up to the season and the return game. And I understand the concerns and the panic, to be honest with you, that people had about the special teams coming in the season just because of the way it's been around here the last couple of years. So when you release James Prochet, who's ended up on the practice squad, and you say, hey, we're going with Chimere Dike as our returner, I certainly got it when people said, oh, man, this is a little risky by putting a rookie out there to do it week one in Denver, and he has proven that he was not too big for him. I think part of it is because, like you said, he played at Florida, played at Wisconsin before that. He played in big games and big stadiums, did that job previously, so he wasn't scared, and he's proven that he will stand back there and catch the ball in traffic, and he's also has great moves and instincts on the field that earned him that spot as a returner, and I think he's going to be a good player, as a receiver. And this team needs to do more, at the receiver position, needs to do more across the board on offense to kind of maximize the talent of some of these players. And I think we'll see that. The Titans have played against two good defenses so far. It has not been clean. They've been in too many long down and distance situations. I think if they can just get into a game with some of these teams, and I think the schedule coming up will allow Titans to be in some of these games and not playing catch up, and guys like Dike and Ayomanor, a lot of these guys on this team are going to have a chance to make plays.
Absolutely. And as we ponder that upcoming matchup, it is time for a cookie break brought to us by Christy Cookie. Typically I have to dig in my tin here, but the tin actually might be kind of empty because I've been picking at these before. Because, Jim, today we have my favorite flavor. These are the Christy Cookie oatmeal raisin cookies. And I saved them just for you because you're my favorite.
Well, I appreciate
and I wanted
that.
to share my favorite flavor with you. Christy Cookie has a signature recipe for their signature flavors. Chocolate chip, white chocolate macadamia nut, and oatmeal raisin. And I didn't know this, but there are toffee bits in each one of these little cookies. That's what makes them taste so dang good.
I did not know that.
See? You wouldn't know unless you listen to the OTP. But if you would like to take a cookie break for you and your friends, Christy Cookie can do that for you. They can make you a nice little tin. You can send it to your boss for the holidays, or just to say, hey, I was thinking of you. That's a very nice way to get some extra brownie points. Gosh, these are so good. Head on over to ChristyCookie.com, and you can create a little tin for your very own cookie break while you ponder the Indianapolis Colts, which is what we are going to do after I eat this cookie. Oh, it's so good.
That's a good cookie, and I like oatmeal raisin too.
It's the most underrated of all cookie flavors.
Yeah, it feels like it's somewhat healthy too. Raisins, oatmeal, can't go wrong there.
Raisins make it sweet. You don't have the chocolatey, melty factor. You can just eat it whenever you want. I'm telling you, it's an underrated cookie treat. Anyway, thank you to Christy Cookie for sending me these cookies that I could share with you, Jim.
Well, I appreciate that. I might just have two.
You can, if you can find the other ones. They are hidden in my office because I plan to take them home.
We have a Snickers for dessert.
And have a Snickers for dessert. Yeah, we're really healthy on this show. Kids, don't watch this. Eat your vegetables. All right, let's talk about the Indianapolis Colts. First division game of the season. There are actually two division matchups happening in week 3. The AFC South teams, Colts and Titans, obviously, and then Texans and Jags.
Okay.
So we've got a lot of inter-division action today, or this weekend, excuse me. The Colts are 2-0. They've beat the Dolphins. They've beat the Broncos. Jim, we are incredibly familiar with this Indianapolis Colts team over the years. This year, there's a fun twist because Daniel Jones is coming to town. What do you expect to see out of him? Because I think we were all surprised to see him as part of the team.
Yeah, I know, and I think a lot of Colts fans were expressed some concern and frustration that he was their starting quarterback to start the season, and as it turns out, he's been pretty good. I mean, they have scored. They end up scoring on their first 10 possessions of the season. They have not punted in 2 games. They have not turned the ball over in 2 games. They've scored 62 points in those 2 games you mentioned, which is 4th in the league. They've racked up 891 yards, which is 2nd in the league. They've averaged 53.5 yards a drive in their first 2 games. Obviously, it's not all Daniel Jones. Jonanthan Taylor, hell of a player, good running back, got a good tight end in Tyler Warren. So they have been good. Are they that good? No, I don't know that they've all of a sudden become, a juggernaut, but they have been so far. And I think that's, if you're the Titans, you look at the Colts and say, hey, if they can do it, why can't we? And obviously, Cam Ward's a rookie, and the Titans have got to do a lot better things around him. But if you ask me, this is a winnable game here on Sunday. In a divisional game that makes it big. Colts have been not just good on offense, they've been good on defense too. So, I mean, it's a challenge, and but these are the kind of games you got to win if you're going to kind of turn the fate of this franchise around. And it's not all going to happen in 1 year, but these are the kind of games you got to start winning.
Jonanthan Taylor is just the bugaboo that won't go away. It feels like, I mean, this is his 6th season in the league. It feels like early it was Jonanthan Taylor versus Derrick Henry, and they were always kind of back and forth with who was going to get the most rushing yards, scrimmage yards, all of those things. Now he's just kind of still good, and we have to deal with him all the time, twice a year.
Yeah, he's a tough back. He's dealt with injuries. He's dealt with being on teams and not been that great, but he just, what you're getting in him. He's just a tough, hard-nosed runner. He's had a lot of success against the Titans. He can do a lot of things out of the backfield, and he helps Daniel Jones because the threat of Jonathan Taylor out of the backfield running the football takes pressure off of the quarterback. So, yeah, here he is again, and keeps his career alive because he's just so good. He's such a tough-minded player, and they saw it, unfortunately, when they picked him in that draft, knowing that he had a great future ahead of him.
Yeah.
He's proven them right.
Yeah, absolutely. Daniel Jones also is just playing clean football. He hasn't thrown an interception within the first 2 games, just like Cam Ward, I will mention. But good news for the Titans, though. They forced 5 turnovers in the first 2 games. So it seems like there might be an opportunity there for this Titans defense to make some plays and get a leg up on Daniel Jones there.
Yeah, but to do that, you gotta fluster him, and you gotta affect the quarterback, as Denard Wilson said earlier in the week, and the Titans have not been able to do that a lot. And what does that mean moving forward? Potentially it means dialing up more blitzes, not just relying on your guys up front to get there. It's going to help, assuming that T'Vondre Sweat's back, just the way he was talking in the locker room. He certainly sounded optimistic about his chances. So when you get him back, it helps guys around him. But Titans are going to need some of their edge guys to produce more. The challenge was different going from Bo Nix to Matthew Stafford, and now it's even different with Daniel Jones. He gets the ball out fast. I mean, he doesn't give you a lot of opportunity to get to him. But, Titans have got to do something just to keep him from just being able to sit back there and pick him apart.
Well, Brian Callahan has talked this week about playing good football for 4 quarters, not just 3 quarters, playing consistent whole football for all 4 quarters of the game. It sounds pretty kind of self-explanatory. It sounds kind of elementary. But, Jim, it turns out harder than it looks.
Yeah, it is, especially when you're hurting yourself. I mean, when you get penalties and you put yourself in long down and distance situations and in all facets of the game, you have letdowns and they come back to bite you. And I don't know. Yeah, I guess you could say they've played good football for 6 to 8. Hadn't played great football. I mean, this team hasn't scored a whole lot of points and hasn't really made plays when it needed to, but played well enough to win, I guess, in some of these games, except for a couple of quarters. You just can't have quarters where you lose your edge. And some of the things the players said coming out of the locker room after the game about what they felt coming out of the locker room on Sunday was that they kind of had a little bit of a letdown. They lost their edge maybe at the start of the second half. That can't happen. I mean, when you're Titans, let's face it. I mean, Titans were a 3-14 team last year. We're in a kind of a little bit of a rebuild here. The roster or the personnel that the team's been working with has not been good enough the last couple of weeks against playoff teams last year. So you can't have any kind of a letdown or an edge. You got to play hard. And so Titans need to play consistently hard and well and execute better to give themselves a chance to win games like this.
Home is at the forefront of all we do. It's why we're so committed to caring for the places and spaces in which we work and live. Ashley, the official furniture provider of the Tennessee Titans. Genesis is the first and only official jeweler of the Titans, having earned that title since 2006. Titans players, coaches, and fans trust Genesis for the absolute best in selection, quality, customer service, and of course, value. For diamonds, engagement rings, designer fashion jewelry, and the largest selection of luxury pre-owned Rolexes in Tennessee, Genesis is the hands-down winner. Genesis Diamonds in Green Hills and Cool Springs, the official jeweler of the Tennessee Titans. Well, Jim, it is now time for the Little Caesars real deal matchup of the game. Typically, it's with Keith Bullock, but today, it's with me. Here's the deal. The matchup that I am watching is the Titans defensive line against Jonanthan Taylor. Taylor already leads the league in rushing yards with 236 total yards over just 2 games this season. And we know that he is patient. He waits and then pops for a major yardage play at just the right moment. It's going to be on the Titans' defensive line to be technically sound and have excellent gap integrity to slow Taylor down. Taking away his lanes is the first step to containing the threat posed by the reigning AFC Offensive Player of the Week. Titans fans, get 15% off your Little Caesars order of $15 or more at participating stores using code TITANS15, that's TITANS15 at checkout. Pizza excludes taxes and other fees. Jim, I am a consumer of lots of sports talk and sports media, as I'm sure you are too. And something I have heard come up in multiple just venues on multiple platforms is this discussion of whether people still go to sporting events. Like, I've seen it in multiple places, and I don't know why. Maybe I'm just noticing it more. But do people go to sports venues, or is the preference overall to stay at home? And I'm horrified by this because it feels like there's only one right answer. And the answer is, of course, people still go to sports venues. Why would you not? Like, am I crazy for being so passionate about this?
No, I love going to sporting events. Yeah, I mean, you can watch games on television, but if you don't go to a sporting event on a Sunday, you can watch games on all day Saturday or all day, or Monday night football. So I'm all about being there. I'm going to Vanderbilt Georgia State game on Saturday night. I'll be at Nissan Stadium, obviously, on Sunday. Actually going to a high school game on Friday night, my alma mater, Father Ryan. So I'll be at 3 live sporting events over the weekend. And there's nothing like being there, cheering for your team and getting out and enjoying life. So there's always a game you can watch on television, but if you've got a game in town, you need to be there.
See, I agree with that. There is just something about, I understand, yes, you can see this game better on the TV, but you know what you can't get on the TV is the entire atmosphere.
That's right.
There's so much more to take in at a football game or any live sporting event than just the action on the field or court or whatever it is you're watching. This isn't even football centric, which you cannot replicate the football experience anywhere else ever, like on the planet anywhere else. It's such a unique thing. But I heard that I heard it in one place and I was like, that's a weird thing to be talking about. And then I heard it in 2 other places and I was like, what is happening in this world? I felt like we needed to acknowledge it because there's just nothing like being at a game live. And here's the thing, and I've learned this coming to Tennessee after the Music City Miracle happened. I know the capacity of Nissan Stadium. Like, I know what that number is. And it is not 100,000 people, but I promise you, in Middle Tennessee, at least 100,000 people say that they were at the Miracle game. So I know that probably 30,000 of those people are lying because that's too many people to have been in the stadium.
Yes.
So don't be someone who misses a historical moment for a franchise and then has to lie about being there. Don't be that guy. Actually be there.
Yes, I'm with you. But you got to give them a reason to be there and a reason to get excited. And they announced, I think the team announced, the crowd at 59,054, something like that on Sunday, which means there were a lot of empty seats there, people that didn't come. And I get it. This team has struggled here over the last couple of years. It's tougher to get to than it used to be because of parking, and it's not an easy – you're giving up your whole Sunday afternoon to do it. And so the teams have got to win and make it fun, and that's what this team has got to find a way to do. They've got to give people a reason to believe, a reason to think they're going to miss out on something. People that were there on Sunday saw a historic play from Cam Ward, the throw to Ayomanor, and that the stadium was – electric when that happened, but you need more plays like that. And again, I mentioned Vanderbilt. I've been going to Vanderbilt games since I was a kid, and believe me, there have been a lot of games that hadn't been a lot of fun sitting out there watching Vandy, but Vandy's gotten a lot more competitive. They've gotten good. More people are coming to the games. More people want to be there. Titans need to start winning more consistently, making more plays, playing an exciting brand of football, and if that happens, more and more people will start coming to the stadiums.
Absolutely, and that starts this Sunday at Nissan Stadium. The Tennessee Titans take on the Indianapolis Colts. Kickoff for that game is at noon. Titans Radio, of course, will have all of the coverage for you starting at 11 a.m. Central Time. 11 a.m. Central Time with Titans Countdown. For Jim Wyatt, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I'm Amie Wells, and this has been the OTP.